Dan Simmons wrote the first book in the Hyperion cantos in 1989. In this series, he followed in the footsteps of classic science fiction writers like Frank Herbert and Isaac Asimov. Since its release, Hyperion has come to be known as one of the essential science fiction books to come out of the past 3 decades. The series, which contains 4 books, is set among the stars, within the hegemony of man. The hegemony of man was the name given to the political and cultural entity which came to be after the event known as the Hegira. Before the existence of the hegemony, the cradle of humanity, Earth, had been destroyed by the event afterward referred to as the Big Mistake. It was said to be a catastrophic occurrence that caused the Earth to be consumed from the inside out by a man-created black hole. Over the course of 100 years, as the planet was annihilated from within, the Hegira began. The mass diaspora of humankind from the planet Earth and into the stars. The results of the Hegira, man's great exodus from the planet Earth, was the hegemony, which eventually would connect over 150 billion human beings, inhabiting 200 planets. There were also about 200 planets considered protectorate of the hegemony, which were only reachable through traditional means of space travel. These outback worlds were not connected by Farcaster or Fat Line. This means that in traveling to these worlds, time debt is accumulated. For instance, 2 weeks traveling at near light speed would equate to about 1 standard year relative to those outside of the ship. The planet Hyperion was one of such worlds. The planet Hyperion stood out for several reasons. It was the location of the mysterious time tombs, which had appeared on the world at some point. They had been sent backward in time from some point in the future. Another reason was that Hyperion was the place where the Shrike resided, a deadly being which had appeared on the planet at the same time as the tombs. The Church of the Final Atonement, or Shrike Church, built a temple on the world. The Shrike was their avatar, their lord of pain. Hundreds of thousands of believers from throughout the hegemony made the pilgrimage to the Shrike Temple. Hyperion was also one of the hegemony's 9 labyrinthine worlds. These worlds each contain strange, complex underground tunnels. It is speculated that they had been created by some ancient, long-gone race referred to in the series as the Builders. The hegemony of man's government consisted of a bicameral legislature, ruled by the Senate CEO, who was essentially a president, and the All-Thing, the public forum which could be accessed by any member of the hegemony through comm logs, neural implants through which citizens of the hegemony could be given information about the state of the empire. The All-Thing had evolved a consciousness of its own. Through the All-Thing, citizens were able to vote on 100 different laws per day if they chose. The All-Thing was maintained by artificial intelligence systems and was dependent on Fat Line and Farcaster technology. The hegemony's armed forces was collectively known as Force. Many of the soldiers were trained at the Olympus Command School, which was built on a dead volcano on the surface of the planet Mars, which was the first planet to be colonized during the Hegira after the Big Mistake. Force contained 4 branches: a Marine Force, a Space Force, a Navy Force, and a Ground Force. The headquarters of Force was located on Tau Ceti Center, a planet less than 12 light-years from old Earth's solar system. Tau Ceti Center was the central world of inhabited space and the capital of the hegemony. Tens of billions of humans lived there, on the surface, and among the ring of habitats and cities in orbit above the planet. Tau Ceti Center was also the center of the hegemony of man's datum plane web megasphere. The datum plane was the aggregate of all real-time networks generated by computer and AI. The web megasphere was one of the 2 main data spheres within it. The other one was the Technocore Matrix. By communicating through members of its AI council, the Technocore maintained an advisory position within the hegemony, making predictions for the government. The Technocore and the hegemony government sustained a cooperative relationship, though the Technocore had a distant coldness, indicative of its inhuman nature. For the hegemony, the Technocore also created many different technologies, most notably Farcasters and Fatline technology. Beyond the grip of the hegemony are the ousters. They were a society of humans spread throughout the galaxy who colonized the outer edges of human space. They had begun to set themselves apart from the rest of humankind during the beginning days of the Hegira. In the 4 books of the Hyperion cantos, the ousters remain the enemy of the hegemony and later pacts. Throughout the series, much about the actual nature of the ousters is revealed. Dan Simmons provides in the Hyperion cantos a strange and mysterious and pretty scary universe. I love the fact that there are mysteries, like what the Technocore is really up to, or where the time tombs came from, or what exactly is the purpose of these labyrinthine worlds, and who exactly were these ancient builders, and do they still exist somewhere? Dan Simmons is able to make his universe feel large and complex, and even convoluted at times, without it becoming overwhelming, and without making it feel like a non-stop barrage of names and places that don't seem real. The hegemony of man controlled the majority of the worlds that humankind had inhabited. Though the citizens, through connection with the All-Thing, could participate in democracy, the hegemony was essentially a dictatorship led by senators from various worlds. Many planets had been forced into the hegemony, and no planet was permitted to leave. Those who resisted would risk being slaughtered by the military arm of the hegemony, which, as I mentioned, was called Force. Though the hegemony of mankind marked a great achievement for humanity, even away from the planet Earth, humans faced great struggles and oppression. The hegemony of man, perhaps like all empires, was destined one day to fall. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video and want to see more content, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to support this channel, click the Patreon link in the description. Also, check out the Ideas of Ice and Fire subreddit and follow me on Twitter. All of my links are in the description.